Hey, thanks for checking in. So, I'm not a YouTuber or anything, no like or subscribe, no ego-fueled introduction, anything like that. I'm just a guy that bought a 4Runner back in 2020, and people have suggested I do a video describing some of the unfortunate ownership experiences I've endured with this thing, especially now that we know that the 5th Gen 4Runner will continue for the 2024 model year. So they're still going to have tens of thousands more of these being made, and people are paying very big dollars for them. Hopefully, this will help give people an idea of what they could possibly expect. I should actually be doing a 3-year owner review of what a wonderful truck this is, because actually, it absolutely is. I'm not trying to dissuade people from buying one, just setting some light and reality of what owners like myself have gone through. So I know I'm not the only one, because a couple of these issues were actually brought to my attention by other 4Runner owners on 4Runner groups. Actually, I really want to get the attention of 4Runner owners who still have warranty, and what to look for and act upon before it's too late. Like you, I've always heard about Toyota's legendary reliability, unicorns and rainbows. So I've been left very surprised and disappointed. I bought this truck in good faith, closing in on my retirement years, thinking I was going to be set for the long term. Well, now I have to question that. So I'm going to do my best to be as impartial as I can, despite all I've gone through with this truck. I'm not going to name the dealership or anyone along the way. I'm not out for personal revenge or anything like that. Don't want to get anybody in trouble. A couple of these issues, indeed, are the dealership's fault. But then the dealership was also there to help me for a couple of the serious instances as well. So I'm currently at 37,000 kilometers. That's only 23,000 miles. Very low for a 2020. This truck happens to be a TRD Pro. But for the purposes of this video, it doesn't matter which trim you have or what you're looking for. Most of my experiences could apply to any 5th Gen 4Runner. There was only one TRD Pro specific issue, which I will address towards the end, because I'm going to go in chronological order here, just for simplicity. One of the things people asking online when inquiring about a new 4Runner is, should they get the extended warranty? You'll see a lot of owners chiming in, no, don't worry about it. Well, maybe not so fast. If you saw the title of this video, yes, I am actually on my 3rd master cylinder. Yes, there is a TSB tailgate rust issue that Toyota doesn't want you to know about. And yes, there was smoke driving home off the lot on day 1. And there was a faulty, possibly incorrectly installed accessory which damaged the paint that Toyota simply left me stuck with. And I'm finding that I'm not alone in experiencing these problems. So if you look over there around the corner, that's my neighbor's place, you'll see a 2005 Honda Odyssey parked there. I bought that Honda back in 2005 brand new. It was stupendous over the 15 years. I didn't have so much as a faulty floor mat with that thing. My kids grew up in the back of it. In fact, it was so good that when I came home with my new 4Runner, the neighbor comes running over here asking me what I was going to do with the minivan. He said, I'll pay whatever you want for it. I know it's a great van. So there you have it. So that's why I decided to stay Japanese. I just wanted something now that I could do more with recreationally. Confidence driving through the mountain passes in the winter, not having to worry about bottoming out off the beaten path, maybe pulling something small once in a while. I was actually about to buy a TRD Off-Road. That's probably the best value in the lineup. But then I actually test drove a Pro, and I fell in love with the Fox suspension, the JBL sound system, and just the entire vibe. I wasn't going to be doing any sort of build anyways. Plus, here in Canada, with the off-road, you had to take the KDSS suspension, which was not my preference. So even back in 2020, at the outset of COVID, the TRD Pro was very limited and difficult to get, especially in the Hero color, and I just loved what I was seeing with that army green. But it so happened that one was on the boat en route to the dealership here, so I really lucked out on that part. So it arrived in July of 2020. It only had like 6 kilometers, just the way I like to purchase my new vehicles. So I picked up the vehicle after work that sunny July day. Everything was great. Then I drove it off the lot and started home, about 8 kilometers away. As I neared home, I thought I could smell smoke. Can't be. Then I came to a stoplight, rolled down my window. Indeed, I could see and smell smoke. I was thinking, is this for real? Then some guy pulls up beside me. Hey buddy, he says, your truck is smoking. I said, yeah. Can you see exactly where it's coming from? He said, well, from underneath, but I can't tell from where exactly. Did you just have it serviced? I said, hell no, this thing's brand new. I just drove it off the damn lot. By this point, I was just a couple blocks from my home, so I pulled into my driveway and scoured the truck to see what the heck was smoking here. Was there packing material around the exhaust? Was there some kind of oils on the manifold? What? I couldn't really see anything. So that's when I texted my salesman. I still have that text. He actually said this was normal. Well, I've never heard anything like this on a brand new vehicle. And if that's normal, then why the hell didn't you say something about it before I left? Anyways, he said it would dissipate over the next few drives. He was right, but still, that's an experience worth sharing. And just as a further side note, the guy who pulled over next to me was driving a brand new Jeep Gladiator. They were brand new that year. You know, well, Toyota guys, they have that rivalry with the Jeep guys, right? Where Toyota guys are quick to tell you how much more reliable Toyotas are than Jeeps. You know, blah, 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 you never go through Death Valley in a Jeep, always drive a Toyota, and all that immature nonsense. Anyways, I can't help but wonder how many times that Jeep Gladiator guy told this story to his Jeep buddies. Must have been one of the most important days in his life. Next, we have my little Toyota hood deflector debacle. So the only accessory thrown in on my deal was this hood deflector. I thought it was a good idea to protect the hood. Little did I know what I was getting myself into. So one day, I'm washing the new 4Runner when I noticed just how ridiculously low this damn deflector was to practically touching the surface of my hood. I was trying to wash underneath there, and lo and behold, noticed that these corners had actually been chipping away at the paint on my fenders. Now, I apologize, I never did take a photo of the chip damage, but it was right through to the metal. Unbelievable. So I brought this to the attention of the dealership for the service manager at the time. Basically, he chuckled and blurted out some nonsense about how they store all these accessories at a hot warehouse in New Mexico, and it was probably just deformed. Don't worry, we'll put a new one on for you. So this is the new one. Virtually no different than the one that caused the paint damage in the first place. I suspect that they were probably improperly installed, and they didn't use the correct rubber bumper placement. So I said, what about these paint chips? He said, oh, we'll just touch those up with touch-up paint. I said, that's it? He said, oh yeah, otherwise we'll have to repaint those whole fenders. There's no way we're going to be able to match that paint. I thought, oh great. Don't worry, you can keep the touch-up paint, he says. Gee, thanks, buddy. So the touch-up paint looks entirely stupid. So I simply covered it up with these rubber bumpers to prevent it from happening again. But as you can see, these edges continue chewing away at these rubber bumpers. I really regret now having just accepted that. But you know, at the time I just lost my mother and I was dealing with a lot personally. And you know what? That's how these guys get you, isn't it? They know we're all consumed with our lives, and often we'll only take things so far. They push that envelope, they count on that. So the other thing I started noticing when the truck was newer was this odd little clunk and hollow spot in my braking. I could feel it like every 2 brake depressions. It was very slight and difficult to describe. I brought this up at my first service. They test drove it and told me everything was fine. Everything was normal. But it kept happening, and I brought it up again and made a special appointment for it. That same service manager guy that glossed over my hood deflector issue told me, "Oh, your brakes are perfectly normal, perfectly fine. This is a special accumulator brake system. You're just used to a traditional vacuum brake system. It's a different feel." I was like, you know what? I'm 58 years old. Accumulator brakes or not, there's something wrong with these damn things. I said, if this is normal, then let me test drive another 4Runner. Problem was, it was at the height of COVID and there were no other 4Runners on the damn lot to test drive. Finally, they did tweak or adjust something, just enough to pacify the issue. So for the next several months, life was pretty good. Finally, I actually got to enjoy the truck trouble-free for a while. I did an extended road trip to the US. Everything was great. The truck performed flawlessly. But then eventually, that brake thing flared up again and became worse than ever. Finally, I had enough, booked it back in the dealership, and was prepared to raise some hell. This time, I had the ear of a good service manager and had him depress the brakes several times until there was no denying what was happening. He got into the truck and paid attention. He communicated it with their lead technician, and they finally formally acknowledged the issue. Now I have to clarify at this point, it was the summer of 2023 with a fresh service team and an assistant service manager who was going above and beyond for me. According to the tech diagnosis, the ABS unit was vibrating so damn badly on brake depression that it was actually hitting the firewall. Where was that previous service manager now for me to ask him, "How's that normal for you, buddy?" At this point, the truck was at the dealership for a couple of weeks as they had to communicate back and forth with Toyota Canada back east. They wanted to thoroughly troubleshoot this master cylinder issue. In the end, they simply ordered and installed an entire new master cylinder brake unit for me. They couldn't determine the cause. It was still within the warranty, and that's thankfully because I was told it was a $5,000 part, not to mention the potential labor of getting that thing in. Once again, life was seemingly good. I was now experiencing real normal brake feel. One day I'm driving along in traffic and had to brake hard when some lady suddenly darted in front of me. And whoa! The entire 4Runner immediately banked hard right. It was rather frightening, actually. It was like I was on a roller coaster track with no control. Enter faulty brake unit number 2. I kid you not. Again, back to the dealership for a couple weeks as they had to go back and forth troubleshooting this thing with Toyota Canada by phone every day so their techs could figure this out. At least that's what I was being told. Again, I have to emphasize at this point how this current assistant service manager and her techs behind the scenes were helpful and I believe doing their best. Again, after a couple of weeks there, thankfully they gave me a loaner car. They simply had to replace the entire unit again under warranty. So I'm on my 3rd brake unit now. I'm happy to report after months of use, it's been trouble-free. But wow. So if anybody else has out there had the same experience, please add that to the comments. I haven't heard too much about this, but I haven't investigated it either. Next comes the notorious rust issue with the tailgate garnish. I was flagged about this online from posts I saw by other owners last summer. It seemed to be an issue exploding online at the time. Sure enough, I go out to my truck and this is what I see. It's just bizarre to me that a vehicle that's been in production since 2009 is still experiencing this issue now. I mean, Toyota was supposed to be known for eliminating issues along the way. And this is happening to 4Runners newer than mine. So if you have warranty, get out there and check it while you still have it. Unfortunately, I was a month past my 3-year warranty. I called my service manager. She knew about it and approached Toyota Canada to see if they'd extend some goodwill. They agreed to cover half the cost, 30 days outside my warranty. Now that's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, but come on. I called Toyota Canada myself about this particular case to see if they would extend me more, but the contact there was a smug little prick and he wouldn't budge. Now right here is my wife's 2015 Honda CR-V. Last summer, at the same time I was going through the rust issue, this multi-purpose camera on her windshield, it all crapped out. All the warning lights on her dash went nuts, and none of the safety features were working. Honda quoted us a whopping $2,500 for the repair. We checked with the independent places, but none of them could get hold of the part. So we were stuck with the dealership, and being a 2015, we were crap out of luck for any warranty. But I did contact Honda Canada, and guess what? They actually agreed to cover 90% of the repair for an 8-year-old 2015. Now that is customer acknowledgement. And here's bloody Toyota won't cover more than half a BS rust issue 1 month after my 3-year warranty. So here's the scam. You're going to notice this surface rust issue around the 3-year mark. If you're lucky, you'll get it within the 3 years, at which point they have to cover the repair at 100%. But after that 3 years, the warranty will only cover the actual rust through portion. That means it has to be rusted through your sheet metal within that time frame, which is probably not going to happen unless you lived in a rust belt. So this is the game Toyota plays, and often they get off scot-free. So finally, I was scheduled for the rust repair in October. It had to be done with the Toyota Partner Body Shop. This repair entails disassembly of the garnish and repainting the entire tailgate, which I was not excited about, for a couple of reasons really. One, some of the owners have seen the rust issue reappear even after that Toyota repair. Also, what are the chances of this color being matched up exactly? So anyways, I drove it to the dealership and they drove it to their body shop. A couple days later, I picked the truck up and drive it home. It looked okay upon first glance, but in certain light, the color indeed doesn't quite match up. Probably not going to see it on this video. But then, I was shocked when I opened the tailgate to see the mess these guys left, with little parts and pieces all over the damn place. It's not so much about the mess as was some of the stuff supposed to be reinstalled? Or was it all replaced, or what? Then I look at my tail lamp and it's totally roughed up. I wasn't sure if it was sandblasted or what the heck was going on here now. But then I realized it was actually sprayed in a rough blast of clear coat. Unbelievable. But if this wasn't enough, looking around the corner, I look up and there's this goddamn ding on my roof. Can you believe this? I mean, what the hell next? I called the service manager. They were still open for the next little while. She was in as much disbelief as me. She told me she'd contact the body shop and get back to me the next day. Again, just all unbelievable. Next day comes, she calls me back, and the ass covering is in full force. She emails me this intake photo from the body shop, which shows the ding miraculously there upon arrival, but oddly no date stamp. And of course, no camera footage of when I dropped my vehicle off at the dealership itself. Remember, I dropped it off at the dealership, they drove it to the body shop. All of this, fishy as hell. Now, I can assure you, there was no goddamn ding when I dropped this vehicle off that night at the dealership. Unfortunately, it's their word against mine. And this is a real piss-off. I can tell you there was no ding when I left my house that day, when leaving to drop it off, and nothing happened on the way. But how the hell do I prove that for certain? So this Toyota Partner Body Shop did clean off the clear coat off my tail light. But yet, that was another trip on my behalf. After all this BS and such sloppy workmanship, they should have sent somebody to my house to clean that up. That's the least they could have done after all this, and what I truly believe was them dinging my truck. So once again, I escalated this latest fiasco up to Toyota Canada. You'd think after all this crap, they would step up. But once again, I was assigned to that same smug little prick that handled the rust issue in the first place. And this time, the little bugger just started screening my calls. Now, I won't drop names, but I hope this guy wakes up on the other side, face down on Satan's mattress. So anyways, I had to fix this ding. Paint was missing there, and with winter coming, I wasn't going to chance it starting to rust up there. So I had to make an insurance claim. Yeah, deductible at my cost. I mean, we all know now Toyota's not going to have it any other way, right? And I had to get it repaired at a reputable body shop. So the new body shop examines it, and they concluded that it definitely happened at the other body shop upon setup. They even explained how it likely happened. It was caused by a tool, it broke the paint, it is at ladder height, and required a certain amount of force to dent that section of roof. It clearly wasn't a rock from the highway or vandalism. Unfortunately, getting at this dent meant pulling the headliner and a repaint of the entire quarter panel. Yeah, a spotless truck on yet another paint job. Thanks, Toyota. And yes, I did first explore the dent ding repair services that some of these guys offer, all of whom came over, inspected the ding, and told me that their dent repair services, they couldn't access it properly to do so. They informed me that I would have to go to the traditional body shop and have the headliner lowered for traditional repair, as I previously mentioned. That process included some inevitable pry scratching, grease prints, etc. on the interior. So here we are, another slight color match issue. That's like 3 different colors on this truck now. A little orange peel. None of this I don't think you're going to see in the video. But it's yet another difference. Another disappointment. Now, I can just hear some of you watching this and saying, dude, it's a 4Runner. Who cares about these cosmetic issues? Well, I do. It's my truck. Yeah, I use it. But I look after it. I paid big for it. As I mentioned, I was in it for the long haul. I'm trying to look after it because I'm still making big payments on it. Because back in 2020, the interest rates were so low, I took advantage of that, went on a 5-year term, because I'm putting my kids through university and stuff. You know, real life stuff. The kind of stuff Toyota is evidently unaware of when it comes to their customers. In my experience anyways. Now at the beginning of this video, I mentioned one issue that was specific to the TRD Pro model. This winter, in the cold, I noticed a loud clunking noise coming from the suspension up front. I knew about it. I had been waiting to see if it would ever happen. I've been hearing about it from other TRD Pro owners in the forums for a few years now. And this year was my turn. So it's a faulty design, I guess you'd say, where the bottom of the springs are essentially resting on a flat collar and mashing into each other at the bottom, even corroding, as you can see in this photo, and I guess creating all that noise. Now, they did revise the shock design, as Murphy's Law would have it for me, after 2020, in the 2021 model year, I believe. So now they have a gradual spring design going into a sloped collar at the bottom, which I believe rectifies this. I know that's their solution, their warranty replacement. But again, I'm out of luck. I'm past my warranty. I'm not even going to bother following up on it or phoning these guys. We know where that gets me. So that's the final issue to mention of note for me. Now, I could go on with an array of minor, more piddly issues that I've had with this vehicle, such as how the premium TRD wheel letters here go from red to pink in a short order. annoying, but every vehicle has that stuff. That's not why I made this video. I wanted to address the seriousness of the frustrating issues up front there that I discussed earlier. So I just hope this helps somebody, especially if you're considering a 4Runner or if you have one and you still have some warranty on it. Thanks for watching. Take care.